Hello everyone, and thank you for attending my presentation. Today I will be talking to you about some concepts we have learned in class and relating it to my work experience at one of my previous jobs at a local charity called North Shore Community Resources. North Shore Community Resources is a small, local charity that provides the residents of the North Shore with free legal services, child and parent resources, various senior services, information regarding various services on the North Shore, and more. We would frequently get client referrals from another nonprofit, the North Shore Multicultural Society, which in turn exposed me to working with people from various cultural backgrounds. One concept that we discussed in class was Trompinar's corporate model. NSCR fit almost perfectly under the family culture section. They followed a clear hierarchy, and I was even handed a map of this hierarchy on my first day. Their pressures seemed to be much more social than financial, as they all wanted to show they were doing a good job even when financial bonuses were not there. Being a charity, it was also rare that there were any financial bonuses, and their extra initiative was driven strictly to help improve NSCR and to receive praise from their coworkers and their managers. Also, whenever change would happen in the workplace, it would all be led by the executive director, who helped guide the employees through the process, whether it was as big as installing a new phone system or as small as having some office redesigns. Recognition in the office was also based on age and seniority, and often if I had questions, I would be told to talk to one lady in particular who had been there the longest, as she was most likely to have my answer. The organizational culture at NSCR was also quite different from what I was used to. When I started this position, I came from a monochronic workplace that followed the motto, "If you're not early, you're late." This, however, was not the case at NSCR. Our office hours were 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., but I quickly found that when I showed up at 9, our office was a ghost town. Most employees didn't show up until around 9:20 to 9:30 and would take their time getting settled, having some coffee, talking with their coworkers, and then slowly starting their day. This was often quite frustrating, as many clients would show up at 9 a.m. exactly, and I have to explain to them that the employee they were looking for wasn't there and would have to give them a rough estimate as to when they would arrive. Even when there were organized staff meetings, they often would start 20 to 30 minutes later than the organized time, as employees would slowly start to trickle in. However, despite the polychronic time in our corporate culture, our staff still expected their clients to show up on time to their scheduled meetings. Our German childcare coordinator would often have problems with some of her clients, as they would show up late to their meetings and not seem to care about their punctuality. At NSCR, there was also an open door policy, and only specific meetings had to be organized. Usually these meetings were the mass staff meetings or management meetings. In most cases, if there was something you needed to discuss, you could just knock on the executive director's door or the employee you were looking to speak to's door, and they would stop what they were doing and offer their help. At NSCR, I also gained a lot of experience working with different cultures, as new immigrants were frequently referred to our office. The vast majority of these immigrants happened to be Iranian. It took me a while to realize that Iran is a high-context culture, and it often took some reading between the lines to fully help them and answer all of their questions. I often found that they would say thank you, and although it may have seemed that I had answered their question, there was still additional information that they were looking for. To fully assist them, it took a lot of reading their body language to figure out if their question had been fully answered or not. If I handed them the information that I assumed was going to answer their question, but saw them still looking around the office and lingering, it was often a key sign that they were still looking for more information. To summarize, the core concepts that I was able to relate to my work experience at NSCR were Trompinar's corporate model, and more specifically the family culture aspect, organizational culture and working in a polychronic work environment, and working and assisting people from a high-context culture. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I will now be open to answering any questions.